Do you ever feel like life is just throwing one problem after another at you? Things happen, and before you know it, you're stressed, frustrated, and just trying to keep it all together. It's easy to let those moments shake you. But here's the thing. What if you could learn to stay calm, focused, and at peace, no matter what life throws your way? What if nothing could disturb your inner peace? In this video, we're going to talk about how to make that a reality. We're going to dig into how you can train yourself to act as if nothing, absolutely nothing, can shake you. Life is always going to have its challenges, but how you respond is what makes all the difference. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to stay grounded and keep your peace, no matter what's going on around you. Stick with me, because this is going to be life-changing. Let's jump in and get started. Number 1, distinguish external events from internal reactions. How many times have you let something small ruin your entire day? Someone says something rude and suddenly you're upset for hours. Something unexpected happens and your whole mood shifts. You were feeling fine and then boom, stress, frustration, maybe even anger. And here's the crazy part. It wasn't even the event itself that caused it. It was how you reacted to it. Most people don't realize this, but there are two parts to every situation. There's what happens, and then there's how you respond. And the truth is, you don't have control over most things that happen in life. You can't control the weather. You can't control how other people behave. You can't control traffic delays or setbacks. But what you can control is how you react. And once you understand that, everything changes. Because let's be honest, life is unpredictable. People will be rude. Things will go wrong. There will be days when nothing seems to go as planned. But if you let every little thing control your emotions, you'll always be at the mercy of the outside world. And that's not a good way to live. That's why you have to learn the difference between what's happening out there and what's happening inside you. Because those are two very different things. Think about the last time you got really upset about something. Maybe someone cut you off in traffic. Maybe your boss said something that annoyed you. Maybe a friend didn't text back and you started overthinking it. Whatever it was, ask yourself this. Did getting upset change the situation? Did it make things better? Or did it just make you feel worse? See, that's the trick life plays on you. It makes you think that reacting strongly will somehow fix the problem. But most of the time, it just makes you suffer more. Now, I'm not saying you should walk around like a robot, not feeling anything. You're human. You're going to have emotions. But what I am saying is that you get to decide how much power you give to those emotions. You get to decide whether a small inconvenience ruins your whole day or whether you let it go and move on. And that choice, that's where your power is. Let's take an example. Say you're at a restaurant and the service is terrible. The waiter is rude. The food takes forever. And when it finally arrives, it's not even what you ordered. Now you have two choices. One, you can get angry, argue, complain, let it ruin your whole meal. Or two, you can take a deep breath, ask for it to be fixed, and keep enjoying your time. Either way, the situation is the same, but your experience of it is completely different based on how you react. That's the secret most people never figure out. They spend their whole lives reacting to things they can't control, and as a result, they feel like they have no control over their own lives. But the moment you start focusing on what you can control, your response, your attitude, your mindset, that's when everything shifts. That's when you stop being a victim of circumstances and start taking charge of your own life. And I know what some people are thinking, but I can't help it. That's just how I am. No, that's just how you trained yourself to be. And just like you trained yourself to react in certain ways, you can train yourself to respond differently. You can learn to pause before you react. You can learn to separate what's happening externally from how you feel internally. And over time, you can get to a place where nothing can shake your peace unless you let it. Now, does that mean you ignore problems? No. If there's something you need to address, you handle it. But you handle it from a place of strength, not from a place of emotional chaos. Because let's be real, when you're emotional, you don't make good decisions. You say things you don't mean. You react in ways you regret later. And then instead of solving the problem, you just create more problems. But when you stay calm, when you step back and see things clearly, that's when you make the right moves. Think about the most successful, powerful, respected people in the world. Do they lose their temper over every little thing? Do they let every small inconvenience ruin their day? No. They stay calm. They stay focused. They don't waste energy on things they can't control. And that's not because their lives are easy. It's because they've trained themselves to be unshakable. And that's what you need to do. You need to build the habit of pausing before you react. When something happens that upsets you, don't respond immediately. Take a breath. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Is this something I can control? Will this matter a year from now? And most of the time the answer is no. Most of the time it's just a temporary inconvenience. And if it is something serious, then staying calm will help you handle it a whole lot better than losing your temper. Look, life is going to test you. It's going to throw challenges your way. It's going to put you in situations where you want to react emotionally. But that's the test. That's where you have to decide. Do you let this take your peace, or do you stay in control? And if you keep making the choice to stay in control, eventually it becomes second nature. Eventually you become the kind of person who doesn't get rattled by every little thing. And that kind of person, that's the kind of person who wins. So from this moment on, make a decision. No more giving away your peace. No more letting things you can't control dictate how you feel. No more reacting just because it's the easy thing to do. Instead, take control. Train yourself to be calm, steady and focused, no matter what happens. And once you do that, you'll see, the things that used to bother you won't even affect you anymore. Because the moment you stop reacting to everything, that's the moment you become unstoppable. Number 2, make peace a daily habit. Let's be honest, life gets busy. And when it gets busy, it gets noisy. Your mind races from one thing to the next. Work, family, responsibilities, bills, social media, everything pulling at you from every direction. And in the middle of all this, peace. It seems like a luxury, doesn't it? Something you only get when everything slows down and everything's going perfectly. But here's the truth. Peace is not something you wait for. Peace is something you create. It's not a result of everything going right. It's a choice you make in the midst of everything going on around you. And here's the catch. Peace is a habit. Yes, a habit. You don't just stumble upon it when everything's calm. No, you make it part of your daily life. Whether things are calm or crazy, you don't just find peace when everything is perfect. You build it little by little, every single day. You set it up as a non-negotiable part of your routine, just like brushing your teeth or eating lunch. And when you do that, your whole life starts to change. You see, most people are waiting for peace to come to them. They think, once I get the promotion, once I get the new car, once my kids grow up a bit, once this project is over, then I'll have peace. But that's a trap, because that once never comes. There's always something else to chase. And every time you think peace is just around the corner, you find another thing that takes up your mind, your time, your energy. That's why you need to make peace a daily practice. I get it. It's hard. Life moves fast. There's always something to do. But think about this. If you don't set aside time to create peace, if you don't actively choose it every single day, you'll always feel like you're chasing it, and you'll never catch it. The good news is, it's not as hard as you think. Peace doesn't have to mean sitting cross-legged on a mountaintop for hours, staring into the distance. It's about the little things you do each day, the habits you build, the choices you make. Start small. I mean really small. You know that moment when you first wake up in the morning, before you even get out of bed, before your mind starts racing with all the things you have to do. Just take a deep breath. Close your eyes for a second. Remind yourself that no matter what happens today, you have the power to stay centered, to stay calm, to stay at peace. It's like setting an intention for the day. You don't have to solve everything in one moment, but you can decide right then and there that peace will be your foundation. You can start your day with a moment of calm, and that sets the tone for everything that comes after. Then build on that. Every time you feel the stress creeping in, every time the noise of life starts to pull you in different directions, take a moment, breathe, pause. You'd be surprised at what just a few seconds of calm can do. It's like hitting a reset button. You're not ignoring the stress or pretending it's not there. You're choosing to step back, to regain control of your energy, to protect your peace. When you do that consistently, it becomes a habit. It becomes something that's automatic. You won't have to fight for it, you'll just naturally come back to it. Now, I'm not saying this is easy. There are going to be days when everything goes wrong, when people push your buttons, when things get overwhelming, when the last thing on your mind is peace. But that's exactly when you need to practice it the most. Because the more you practice peace, when things are tough, the stronger your peace muscle becomes. You start to realize that peace isn't just about calm situations. It's about being calm in the chaos. It's about having that inner strength that nothing can shake, no matter what's going on outside of you. And as you start making peace a part of your daily routine, something incredible happens. You start to notice the difference in how you handle things. You don't overreact to problems. You don't let the little things bother you the way they used to. You don't get swept up in the drama. Instead, you start responding, not reacting. You start to see problems as opportunities to practice peace. And that's a game changer. But it doesn't stop there. Peace also means taking care of your mind and body. You can't expect to have peace if you're constantly burning yourself out, if you're not taking care of yourself. Part of the habit of peace is making time for rest, making time to recharge. That means setting boundaries, saying no to things that drain you, and saying yes to the things that restore you. That might mean spending some quiet time alone, going for a walk in nature, reading something that inspires you, or even getting a good night's sleep. Peace comes from taking care of your whole being, not just your mind but your body and soul too. And don't forget about the people around you. You can't always control the chaos of the world, but you can choose who you spend your time with. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, who bring peace into your life, not people who constantly stress you out or drain your energy. The people you spend your time with can either add to your peace or take away from it. So make sure you're creating a space where peace can thrive, within yourself and in your relationships. You see, peace is not passive. It's an active, ongoing process. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect circumstances. It's about choosing peace over and over again, in big ways and small. And when you do that, you'll notice something amazing. You'll start to become a calm, steady presence in the middle of chaos. You'll be the one who remains collected when everything else is falling apart. And over time, that peace will become a habit you don't even have to think about. It will just be who you are. It will be a part of your daily life, like breathing, like eating, like sleeping. So today, right now, make peace a daily habit. Start with small moments, small choices. Commit to it, no matter how crazy life gets. And watch how your life starts to shift. Because when you make peace a part of your daily routine, nothing can disturb it. And that's when you truly start to live with purpose, with power, and with peace. Number 3, learn from history's greatest examples. We all have dreams. We all have goals. And sometimes, when we face obstacles, doubts creep in. We ask ourselves if we're good enough, if we're capable, if it's even possible. That's where history comes in. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We don't have to do it all from scratch. All we have to do is look at those who've gone before us. The people who have faced challenges bigger than ours, and still came out on top. Let's take a minute to think about that. Who do you look up to? Who inspires you? I'm willing to bet that whoever you admire
didn't just wake up one day at the top of their game. They went through struggles. They faced obstacles. They were knocked down, just like you and me. But what made them different? They kept going. They refused to let their circumstances define them. They refused to let failure be the end of their story. They learned, adapted, and pressed on. And because of that, they made history. Take Thomas Edison, for example. I don't know how many of you have heard the story about how many times Edison failed before he invented the light bulb. It wasn't just a couple of tries. It wasn't 5 or 10 attempts. Edison failed thousands of times. Thousands. But every time he failed, he didn't see it as a defeat. He didn't let the setbacks break him. He saw it as learning. Every failure was one step closer to success. Every failure taught him what didn't work. And when he finally succeeded, the world was forever changed. Now think about it. Edison didn't have the luxuries we have today. He didn't have the same resources. He didn't have all the technology and comforts we often take for granted. But what he did have was an unshakable belief in his vision and the determination to push forward, no matter how many times life knocked him down. He didn't let the fear of failure hold him back. He didn't let the doubts of others make him second-guess himself. And that is something we can all learn from. Then there's someone like Oprah Winfrey. I think we all know her name. But did you know that Oprah didn't exactly start out with the easiest of paths? She faced rejection after rejection. She had a difficult childhood, full of hardship and abuse. She didn't fit the mold of the typical media personality. But that didn't stop her. Oprah didn't let her past define her future. She kept showing up. She kept doing the work. And today she is one of the most powerful and influential people in the world. She turned her pain into purpose and used it to fuel her success. Her life is proof that where you start doesn't have to be where you end up. And what about someone like Nelson Mandela? Mandela spent 27 years in prison, fighting for the rights of his people, fighting against apartheid. Imagine that. 27 years of his life. 27 years in a prison cell. All because he believed in equality, freedom, and justice. And you know what? He didn't let that prison cell define him. He didn't let the hate and the injustice of the world turn him into a bitter man. He chose forgiveness. He chose peace. He chose to believe in the goodness of others. And when he finally walked out of that prison, he didn't walk out as a broken man.
He walked out as a leader, someone who changed the course of history. He used his time in prison to grow, to learn, and to prepare himself for the future. These are just a few examples, but there are so many others. The list is endless. You've got people like Walt Disney, who was told he lacked creativity. You've got Michael Jordan, who didn't make his high school basketball team. You've got Steve Jobs, who was fired from the company he founded. But they didn't let those setbacks stop them. They didn't let failure be their final chapter. They used it as fuel. They learned, they adjusted, they kept going, and they succeeded. Now let's stop for a second. I want you to think about your own life. What's holding you back? What's that thing that's been stopping you from going after what you really want? Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's doubt. Maybe it's a past failure. Maybe you're just waiting for the right time. But let me tell you something. There's no perfect time. There's no perfect moment where everything will align. There will always be challenges. There will always be setbacks. There will always be moments when you think about giving up. But that's exactly why you need to learn from those who've been through it all. They didn't wait for the perfect time. They didn't wait for the stars to align. They worked with what they had, where they were, and they kept pushing forward. The truth is, you have the same power within you. You have the same potential. You have the same ability to overcome. The only thing stopping you is you. When you start looking at your challenges through the lens of what others have overcome, it starts to put things in perspective. Those big hurdles you think are impossible. Someone else has probably faced something bigger and came out victorious. It's not about the obstacle. It's about your response to it. That's the key. The key is in how you respond. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow, to learn, to build character. It's an opportunity to get closer to your goals. But if you don't keep moving, if you don't keep pushing, if you don't keep believing, you'll never see the other side of those obstacles. You'll never see the reward that comes from overcoming. So look to history. Look to the people who've come before you. Use their examples as motivation. Use their stories as proof that no matter where you start, no matter how hard it gets, you can do it. You can rise above it. You can keep going, and you can succeed. And don't just look at history. Look at the people around you too. Look at the people who are already making it happen. There are examples everywhere, all around you. The question is, will you learn from them? Will you choose to keep going, even when the road is tough? Will you choose to push through, even when you want to quit? The answers to those questions are the ones that will determine your future. So what are you going to do? Are you going to let history be something you just admire from afar? Or are you going to step up and make your own mark? Because the truth is, your story isn't written yet, and you have the power to write it however you want. The question is, how will you respond to the challenges you face?
Will you rise above, just like those before you? Will you learn from their example and take it one step further? That's where your greatness lies. The power is in your hands. The question is, what are you going to do with it?
Number 4, let go of the need to prove yourself. We all want to be successful, right? We want to achieve our goals, get recognition, and prove to the world that we are capable. But here's the truth that might hit you a little hard. Sometimes we get so caught up in proving ourselves to others that we forget to focus on the most important person, ourselves. We're living in a world where we're constantly looking for approval. Social media, work, relationships, everywhere you look, someone is looking at you, waiting for you to show that you've got it together, that you're worthy of respect, of admiration. But here's something I want you to really think about. When we live for approval, when we live for validation, we lose ourselves. We start measuring our worth based on other people's opinions, other people's standards. And let me tell you, those standards will always change. One day you're good enough, and the next you're not. And that's exhausting. It's draining. And in the end, it leaves you unfulfilled. So I want to ask you a question. Who are you really trying to prove something to? Is it the people around you, your boss, your friends, or is it yourself? Because when you truly realize that you don't need to prove yourself to anyone else, that's when you find freedom. That's when you start to live life on your own terms. And that's when the real success happens. Let's be real for a moment. The world doesn't owe you anything. People are not out there handing out medals for every little thing you do. That's just the truth. And you know what? That's okay. You don't need a medal to know your worth. You don't need a trophy to prove that you're good enough. It's already in you. It's always been there. You see, when you're constantly looking for external validation, you're living in the past. You're living based on someone else's opinion of you. But when you let go of that need to prove yourself, when you stop trying to measure up to someone else's standards, you start living in the present. You start focusing on what you truly want, what truly makes you happy, and what really matters to you. Let me give you an example. Think about someone like Michael Jordan. If you know his story, you know that he was cut from his high school basketball team. Imagine that, the future greatest basketball player in the world, and he was told he wasn't good enough. Can you imagine how easy it would have been for him to get discouraged, to quit, to try to prove to everyone that he was worthy of being on that team? But that's not what he did. He didn't play the game to prove anything to anyone. He played the game because he loved it. He played because he knew what he was capable of. And guess what? His love for the game, his dedication to improving himself, and his refusal to stop pushing is what made him the legend he is today. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone. The only person you need to prove anything to is yourself. That's where the real power is. That's where you start to see change. You see, when you let go of the need to prove something to others, you free yourself from their expectations. You stop carrying around that weight of having to be perfect, of having to always show your best side. You start living with intention, and you start acting on your own values. It's so easy to fall into the trap of trying to please others. We want to fit in. We want to belong. We want to be accepted. But the problem with that is that it's never enough. You'll never be able to please everyone. And the more you try, the more miserable you'll become. You'll end up chasing something that doesn't exist, something that will never bring you fulfillment. The truth is, when you start focusing on your own growth, your own success, and your own happiness, that's when the right people will start to recognize your value. You don't need to chase anyone's approval. The right people, the ones who truly matter, will see your worth without you having to prove anything. And the ones who don't see it, well, they're not the ones you need in your life anyway. You know, sometimes we're afraid that if we let go of that need to prove ourselves, we'll just end up sitting on the sidelines doing nothing. But that's not how it works. When you stop proving yourself to others, you start to prove things to yourself. You start to challenge yourself. You start to believe in your own abilities. You take the focus off what everyone else thinks and turn it inward, where the real power lies. It's about trusting yourself. It's about knowing that you are enough, exactly as you are, and that you don't need anyone else's permission to succeed.
So what does it look like to let go of the need to prove yourself? It means you stop caring about what people think. It means you stop seeking approval from the outside world and start finding confidence within. It means you get clear on your own values, your own purpose, and you live in alignment with them. It means you stop chasing perfection and accept that failure is part of the journey. You understand that growth comes from experience, not from trying to be perfect all the time. Now I know this isn't easy. We've all been conditioned to seek validation from the world around us. It's hard to let go of that, but think about how much lighter your life would be if you stopped living for others. Think about how much more focused you would be if you put all that energy into what really matters to you. The moment you realize that you don't have to prove anything to anyone is the moment you start living freely. You stop fighting against the world, and you start embracing who you are. You start showing up for yourself, and that's when things start to change. When you let go of the need to prove yourself, you make room for the best version of you to come through. So ask yourself, how much energy are you wasting trying to prove yourself? What would happen if you stopped trying to meet other people's expectations and just focused on your own growth? I'll tell you, your life would change. You would finally give yourself the freedom to chase your dreams, to go after what you truly want without worrying about what anyone else thinks. And that's when you'll find peace. That's when you'll find fulfillment. And that's when you'll start living your best life. You are enough. You don't need to prove it to anyone. It's already been proven by the fact that you're here, breathing, learning, and growing every single day. Don't let anyone else's opinions define you. Live for yourself, prove to yourself what you're capable of, and everything else will fall into place.
Number 5, choose solutions over complaints. Life is full of challenges. We all face difficulties, obstacles, and moments where things don't go the way we planned. It's just part of the deal. But here's where the power lies. We get to choose how we respond to those challenges. We can choose to focus on the problems, or we can choose to look for solutions. Now this may sound simple, but it's a game changer. The moment you shift your focus from complaints to solutions, you'll start to see your life in a whole new light. Let me ask you something. How many times have you found yourself complaining about a situation? Maybe it's your job, a relationship, the weather, or just the way things are going in general. It's easy, right? It's natural to complain when things aren't going your way. And I'm not saying you shouldn't vent or talk about your frustrations. We all need to let off steam sometimes. But what happens when that complaining becomes a habit? What happens when you get stuck in the cycle of focusing on everything that's wrong instead of everything that could be right? The truth is, when we complain, we're giving our energy to the problem. We're putting all our focus on the negative. We're saying to the world, this situation is too hard. I can't handle this. This is impossible. And guess what happens when you keep saying that? You get more of it. The more you focus on the problem, the more the problem grows. It's like you're feeding it, nurturing it, giving it all your attention. And that's not helping you. That's holding you back. But here's the thing. The moment you choose to focus on solutions instead of complaints, you change everything. When you make the decision to look for answers, to find a way forward, you take back control. You stop being a victim to your circumstances, and you become the creator of your own outcome. You stop being at the mercy of the problem, and you start being the one who solves it. Now, this doesn't mean that everything will magically get better overnight. Choosing solutions over complaints doesn't mean the road will be easy. It doesn't mean that challenges won't arise. But what it does mean is that you're shifting your mindset. You're no longer stuck in the negativity. You're no longer consumed by the problem. Instead, you're focusing on the actions you can take to move forward. Think about it this way. When you complain, you're powerless. You're simply pointing out what's wrong, and that's it. But when you choose solutions, you become powerful. You take responsibility for your own situation. You stop waiting for someone else to fix it for you. You take action, and action, my friend, is where the magic happens. Let me give you an example. Have you ever been in a job that you didn't like? Maybe you felt stuck, unappreciated, or bored. It's easy to complain, right? You could sit there day after day, grumbling about how much you hate your job, how your boss doesn't appreciate you,
or how the work just isn't fulfilling. And sure, it might make you feel better for a moment to vent about it. But what's the point of that? Does complaining make the situation any better? Does it bring you closer to a solution? Of course not. It just keeps you stuck in the same place, thinking the same thoughts, and getting more of the same. But imagine if you made a different choice. Imagine if instead of complaining, you started asking yourself, what can I do to improve this situation? What steps can I take to make this job better for me? Maybe it's having a conversation with your boss about your role. Maybe it's finding new ways to take on projects that excite you. Maybe it's looking for opportunities within the company to grow and develop. Or maybe it's time to explore new career options entirely. Whatever the solution is, you're now in the driver's seat. You've stopped being a passive observer and started being an active participant in your own life. When you choose solutions over complaints, you shift from a mindset of scarcity to a mindset of abundance. Instead of focusing on what's wrong, you start focusing on what you can do. Instead of waiting for things to change, you take responsibility for making them better. And that's when things really start to move. Another example. Let's say you're facing financial difficulties. It's easy to complain about not having enough money, right? You could sit there and talk about how you're always broke, how life is unfair, how everything is too expensive. But guess what? That's not going to change your situation. That's just going to make you feel worse. Instead, what if you shifted your focus? What if you asked yourself, what can I do to improve my financial situation? What steps can I take to get back on track? Maybe it's creating a budget. Maybe it's looking for ways to earn extra income. Maybe it's cutting back on unnecessary expenses. Or maybe it's seeking out financial advice or education. Whatever it is, by choosing solutions, you're taking control of your financial future. You're not waiting for someone else to come along and fix things for you. You're stepping up and saying, I've got this. I can make it work. Here's the thing. Life isn't perfect. You will encounter problems. You will face challenges. But that's not the point. The point is how you respond. You can either focus on what's wrong, or you can focus on what you can do to make things better. And the moment you choose solutions over complaints, you unlock a whole new level of power and potential in your life. You see, it's not about ignoring the problems or pretending they don't exist. It's about shifting your focus from the problems to the possibilities. It's about recognizing that no matter what life throws your way, you have the ability to find a solution. You have the ability to take action. You have the ability to change your circumstances. And that's where true growth happens. So the next time you're faced with a challenge, ask yourself, what's the solution? What can I do right now to make this better? And then take that first step. It might not be easy, but it will be worth it. Every time you choose solutions over complaints, you're building momentum. You're creating the life you want. And you're proving to yourself that no problem is too big. No challenge is too great. Remember, you're in control. Stop complaining and start finding solutions. The power is in your hands. Number 6, forgive quickly. Forgiveness. It's one of those words that can stir up all kinds of emotions. When we think of forgiveness, it can feel like a heavy, almost impossible thing to do, especially when we've been hurt. Maybe someone let you down, betrayed you, or said something that cut deep. It's natural to feel upset. It's human to want to hold on to those feelings. Because let's face it, sometimes it feels like you're owed something for the hurt you've endured. But here's the thing, holding on to that pain, that anger, it's only hurting you. It's not doing anything to the other person, but it's weighing you down. Let's get real for a second. There's no way around it. Life is going to throw some punches. People will let you down. They'll mess up, and you'll mess up too. But the longer you hold on to that anger, that resentment, the more you're letting that person, that event, that situation, control you. They've already hurt you once, but by holding on to the grudge, you're allowing them to hurt you over and over again. Every time you think about it, you relive the pain. Every time you replay the event in your mind, you're feeding it, keeping it alive. It's like carrying around a heavy backpack full of stones, expecting it to only weigh down the person who hurt you. But in reality, that weight is only on you. Forgiveness isn't about saying what happened was okay. It's not about letting someone off the hook for their actions. It's not even about them at all. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself. It's about releasing the grip that pain has on you. It's about making the decision to stop letting someone else's actions dictate how you feel. When you forgive quickly, you're choosing peace over bitterness. You're choosing freedom over being stuck. You're choosing to be the one who takes back control of your life, of your emotions. It's so easy to fall into the trap of thinking that forgiveness means weakness. We think if I forgive them, it means they get away with it. It means they're right, and I'm wrong. But that's not it at all. Forgiving someone doesn't mean you're excusing their behavior or pretending it didn't matter. What it means is that you're no longer going to let that person or situation control you. You're no longer going to let it hold you hostage. You're releasing the power it has over you, and that takes strength. It takes courage. It takes a willingness to let go of something that no longer serves you. Now I know this isn't easy. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that forgiveness is something you can just flip a switch on. It's hard. It takes time. But here's the truth. The longer you hold on to unforgiveness, the longer you stay stuck. And when you're stuck, you can't move forward. You can't grow. You can't experience the peace and the joy that's waiting for you just on the other side of that forgiveness. But once you let go of the anger, the bitterness, the resentment, it's like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. You feel lighter. You feel freer. You feel like you can breathe again. Forgiveness is something you have to choose every day. Every time the thought comes up, you have to decide to let it go. It's not about forgetting what happened. It's about not letting it control your emotions. And the more you practice forgiveness, the easier it becomes. It doesn't mean you'll never feel hurt again, but it means that the hurt doesn't have to control you. You get to decide how you respond, and you can choose peace. Think about it. When you hold on to unforgiveness, what does it do to you? It makes you angry, bitter, and resentful. It eats away at you, slowly wearing you down. But when you forgive, it's like you're giving yourself permission to move on. You're telling yourself that you're not going to stay stuck in the past. You're not going to let someone else's actions determine your happiness. And here's the beautiful part. When you forgive, you open the door for healing. You open the door for growth. You allow space in your heart for more love, more peace, more joy. You free up energy that was once consumed by anger and frustration, and you make room for something better. And let's be clear about something. This isn't about saying you have to be best friends with the person who hurt you. Forgiveness doesn't mean that you have to go back to the way things were. Sometimes forgiving someone means creating distance, setting boundaries, or even walking away from a toxic situation. But it does mean that you're not carrying that burden with you anymore. You're not letting them control your thoughts and emotions. You're taking back your power, and that is incredibly freeing. I know that forgiveness doesn't always happen overnight. Sometimes it takes time to heal. But the sooner you start, the sooner you'll feel that shift. And it's not just about forgiving others. It's about forgiving yourself too. You're human. You make mistakes. You mess up. But holding on to guilt, shame, or regret only keeps you stuck in the past. It's time to let go of the self-judgment, to forgive yourself for the mistakes you've made, and to move forward. When you do that, you'll find that forgiveness becomes a way of life, not just something you do when you're forced to. You have the power to forgive quickly. You have the power to release the hurt and the anger that's been holding you back. And when you do, you open up the space for something new, something better. Forgiveness isn't just a gift to the person who hurt you.
It's a gift to yourself.
It's the gift of peace, the gift of freedom, the gift of growth. So here's the challenge. Start today. Start with the small stuff, the little things that are weighing you down. Choose forgiveness. Let go of the past. Release the hold that hurt has on you. And watch how much lighter you feel. Watch how much more peace you experience. Watch how much more joy you make room for in your life. Forgive quickly, because when you do, you're not just freeing the other person, you're freeing yourself. And that's where your real power lies. Number 7, build a routine that keeps you mentally strong. I know, when you hear the word routine, you might think of something boring, something that feels restrictive. But here's the truth. A routine is one of the most freeing things you can have in your life, especially when it comes to your mental strength. If you want to build the kind of mental resilience that can withstand any challenge, that can handle whatever life throws at you, then a solid, intentional routine is the foundation. Think about it. Life is full of unpredictability. Every day there's something new that can shake you up, whether it's work stress, personal problems, unexpected challenges, or just the general chaos of the world around us. It's easy to get caught in the storm,
and feel like you're losing control. But that's where a routine comes in. It's like your anchor. When everything around you is moving and shifting, your routine is what keeps you grounded. It's your safe space. It's the thing that's consistent, the thing you can rely on when everything else feels uncertain. Now, I'm not talking about a routine that's rigid or suffocating. That's not what we're going for here. I'm talking about a routine that supports your well-being, that empowers you, that strengthens you from the inside out. A routine that makes you feel energized, focused, and ready to take on the world, no matter what comes your way. It's a routine that builds mental strength, because it gives you structure, but it also gives you the freedom to grow. So let's break this down. First, you've got to start with the basics. You need to take care of your body. I know, you've heard this a million times before, but it's true. If your body isn't in good shape, it's going to be hard for your mind to be sharp and strong. You've got to get enough sleep. You've got to eat well. You've got to get some form of exercise in every day. This doesn't mean you have to be a gym rat or a health expert. It just means you need to move your body, take care, and fuel it properly. When you're physically strong, your mind follows suit. It's that simple. But physical health is just the start. Mental strength isn't just about keeping your body in check. It's about feeding your mind with the right things. What are you putting into your brain every day? What kind of information are you consuming? If you wake up and dive straight into your phone, scrolling through the chaos of the news or social media, you're starting your day off on a bad note. You're filling your mind with negativity, comparison, and distraction. That's not going to make you stronger. Instead, start your day with something positive, something that fuels you, something that helps you grow. It could be reading a book, listening to a podcast, or even just spending a few minutes in quiet reflection. Whatever it is, make it a part of your routine. Make it a habit. Another key piece of building mental strength through routine is setting intentions for your day. Too many people wake up and let the day happen to them. They don't have a plan. They don't have a focus. And that's how you end up feeling overwhelmed and scattered. You've got to decide what your day is going to look like, what your priorities are. Start each day by getting clear on what you need to accomplish, what you want to focus on, and what you need to do to move closer to your goals. This doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out process. It can be as simple as taking 5 minutes in the morning to write down your top 3 priorities for the day. But when you do this, you're setting yourself up for success. You're giving yourself direction, and that direction is what keeps you mentally strong. Next, you've got to build in moments of reflection. It's easy to get caught up in the rush of life, constantly moving from one task to the next, without ever taking a moment to pause and reflect on where you are. But reflection is one of the most powerful tools for growth. When you take time to look back on your day, your week, or even your year, you can see what's working and what's not. You can recognize your progress, and you can learn from your mistakes. This is how you build mental strength. You don't just go through life passively. You actively engage with it. You learn from it. You grow from it. But here's the thing about building a routine that keeps you mentally strong. It's not about doing everything perfectly. You don't have to have every part of your routine nailed down 100% of the time. You don't have to be perfect. What matters is consistency. It's about showing up for yourself every single day. It's about putting in the effort, even when it's hard. It's about doing the work, even when you don't feel like it. And yes, there are going to be days when you fall off track. There are going to be days when life gets in the way, and you miss a workout, or you don't have time to meditate. That's okay. The key is to get back on track as soon as possible. Don't let one slip-up derail your progress. Keep showing up. Keep doing the work, and over time that consistency will pay off. As you continue to build this routine, you'll start to notice a shift. You'll feel stronger mentally. You'll feel more focused, more determined, more resilient. You'll start handling stress better. You'll start handling challenges better. Your mindset will shift from "I can't do this" to "I will find a way." That's the power of a solid routine. It doesn't just give you structure, it gives you strength. It gives you the tools you need to thrive, no matter what life throws at you. My challenge to you today is simple. Start building your routine. Start small, but start it.
One thing you know you can commit to every day. Whether it's waking up 10 minutes earlier to plan your day, or committing to a 15-minute workout, or even just reading a chapter of a book each morning, and then stick to it. Make it a part of your day, and build from there. Over time, you'll notice that you're not just going through the motions. You're becoming the best version of yourself. You're becoming mentally strong, unshakable, and ready to face whatever comes your way. It all starts with the power of routine. Number 8, stay present. Don't live in the past or worry about the future. It's the tendency to either live in the past or get so caught up in the future that we completely forget about the one thing that's real, the present moment. We're all guilty of it. We spend so much time thinking about what happened yesterday, rehashing old mistakes, or worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow, that we miss the power of right now. But the truth is, there's no power in the past, and there's no power in the future. The only place where real change can happen is in the present. Now I get it. It's so easy to fall into the trap of living in the past. Maybe you've made some mistakes. Maybe there were moments you wish you could go back and change. Maybe there's something in your past that still haunts you, something that holds you back every day. But listen to me. Your past does not define you. It doesn't matter how many mistakes you've made, how many failures you've had, or how many people have let you down. The past is gone. It's behind you. And the more you hold on to it, the more you let it control you, the more you rob yourself of the chance to move forward and create something new. Living in the past can be a heavy burden. You start to feel stuck. You start to believe that your past determines your future, that the mistakes you made yesterday are going to somehow dictate your chances tomorrow. But here's the truth. You can't change the past. You can't go back and fix the mistakes you made. But what you can do is take what you learned from it and use that to move forward. You can decide today that you're not going to let the past define you. You can let go of that weight and make space for something better. Every new day is an opportunity to start fresh, to begin again, to be better than you were yesterday. But that only happens when you stop living in the past. Now let's talk about the future. We're all guilty of this too. We spend so much time worrying about what's coming next. Will we be successful? Will we have enough money? Will we ever reach our goals? We get so wrapped up in these thoughts that we forget to live in the present. We put off the things we could do today because we're too busy stressing about what might happen tomorrow. But here's something I want you to understand. The future is not promised. We can't control what happens next. We can't predict what's going to come our way. But what we can control is what we do today. We can take action today. We can make progress today. We can live with intention today. When you're constantly worrying about the future, you're robbing yourself of the chance to take meaningful action in the present. You're so focused on what might happen down the road that you miss the opportunities that are right in front of you. The future will take care of itself if you put in the work today. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to know exactly what's coming next. What you need to do is take the next step in front of you. Right now, don't get overwhelmed by the big picture. Focus on the small daily actions that will move you closer to where you want to be. Now, I'm not saying don't plan for the future. Planning is important. Setting goals is important. But what I'm talking about here is the difference between planning for the future and obsessing over it. Planning gives you direction. Obsessing steals your peace. You can plan for success, but you can't live in constant worry about what's going to happen. Worrying about the future doesn't change anything. It just wastes your energy and prevents you from fully engaging with what's in front of you right now. So how do we stay present? How do we stop letting the past or the future control us? It all starts with being intentional about where we place our focus. The first step is to recognize when you're drifting into the past or future. Pay attention to your thoughts. When you catch yourself replaying old conversations or worrying about things you can't control, gently bring yourself back to the present moment. This might sound simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Every time you catch yourself, just bring your attention back to where you are right now. Focus on your breath. Focus on what's around you. Focus on what you can do today, right this minute, to move forward. Another way to stay present is to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is all about being aware of what's happening in the here and now. It's about fully experiencing each moment without judgment, without distractions. You can practice mindfulness in everything you do. Whether you're eating, walking, or having a conversation, focus all your attention on that activity. Don't let your mind wander to something else. Just be in the moment, fully present and engaged. The more you practice mindfulness,
the easier it becomes to stay focused and avoid getting caught up in the past or the future. You've also got to remember that the present moment is where your power lies. It's where you can take action. It's where you can make progress. It's where you can build the life you want. If you're constantly living in the past or worrying about the future, you're missing out on the opportunities of today. And let me tell you, today is the only day you can do something about your life. Tomorrow is not promised. Yesterday is already gone. But today is where you have the power to create change. So don't waste it. And when you make the choice to stay present, you'll notice something amazing happens. You'll start to feel more at peace. You'll feel less overwhelmed. You'll feel more connected to what's going on around you. And you'll feel more capable of handling whatever comes your way. You'll realize that the present moment is where all the magic happens. It's where you have the most influence. It's where you can take the most meaningful steps forward. I want you to commit to living in the present. Commit to letting go of the past. Commit to letting go of the worry about the future. And commit to fully engaging with the now. Because when you do that, you'll unlock a level of peace, power, and progress that you've never experienced before. The present is where everything begins. The present is where your life is happening. And when you choose to be fully present, that's when you start creating the life you truly want.
Number 9, start each day with intention. Imagine waking up each day with a sense of purpose, a fire inside you that you can't ignore, a clear direction that makes every moment feel important. How powerful would that be? How would it change the way you approach your day? Now, most people wake up and they just react. They hit the snooze button, drag themselves out of bed, and go through the motions. They're reacting to whatever life throws their way without ever taking a second to stop and ask themselves, what do I want today to be about? That's where the power lies, my friends. The power of starting each day with intention. You can't control everything that happens to you, but you absolutely can control how you start your day. The way you begin your morning shapes everything that follows. It sets the tone. It influences your energy, your mindset, your decisions. And if you start your day with no intention, with no clear purpose, you'll find yourself reacting instead of leading your life. Now let's get one thing straight. Starting each day with intention doesn't mean you have to have everything figured out. You don't need to know exactly what will happen in every hour of your day. But what it does mean is that you take a moment before anything else happens to ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish today? How do I want to show up? What energy do I want to bring into my day? When you do this, you're making a conscious choice to be in control, to be proactive instead of reactive. And let me tell you, that small shift is what makes the difference between feeling like you're drifting through life and actually making progress towards your goals. So how do you start your day with intention? It starts the moment you open your eyes. Most people, when they wake up, they immediately reach for their phone, check the news, scroll through social media, or get lost in their email. And what happens then? Their mind is flooded with other people's problems, the world's chaos, things that have nothing to do with what they actually want to achieve. They're already reacting, already distracted, and already losing their focus. If you want to take control of your day, you've got to break that cycle. Don't let the world grab your attention first thing. Instead, take a deep breath, ground yourself, and set the tone for your day. Start by taking a few minutes to clear your mind. This doesn't have to be some complicated ritual. It could be as simple as taking 5 deep breaths, closing your eyes, and mentally preparing yourself for the day ahead. Think about what you want to focus on. Think about what's important to you. This is your moment to align your actions with your values. If you want to feel more energized, remind yourself of that and set the intention to bring energy into everything you do. If you want to be more productive, set the intention to make the most of your time. Whatever it is, the key is to be intentional about it. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. I don't have time for this. I've got too much to do. I'm too busy. Well, let me tell you something. The busier you are, the more important it is to start your day with intention. Without it, you'll just be chasing your tail all day long. You'll find yourself reacting to every little thing, being pulled in a million different directions. But when you start your day with intention, you create a roadmap for how you want to show up. It gives you a clear sense of purpose, and suddenly everything you do becomes part of the bigger picture. Think about it this way. If you're not intentional about how you start your day, you're letting life happen to you.
You're at the mercy of the circumstances, the distractions, the unexpected events that pop up. But when you set an intention, you take control. You choose how you want to approach the day. You decide what you're going to focus on. You decide what kind of energy you're going to bring to your work, your relationships, and your personal growth. It's like having a GPS that guides you through the day, even when things get chaotic. And let's not forget about your mindset. When you start the day with intention, you're not just setting goals, you're also setting your mindset for success. Think about it. If you wake up and immediately start stressing about all the things you have to do, your mindset is already on the defensive. But when you wake up with intention, you're coming from a place of strength. You're coming from a place of knowing what you want and being prepared to take the actions necessary to get there. You're not reacting to life. You're creating it. Now, I know some of you might be thinking that this sounds all good in theory, but it's hard to do consistently. Life gets busy. Things happen. And yes, they will. But that's exactly why it's so important to make intention a habit. The more you practice starting your day with intention, the easier it gets. It becomes ingrained in who you are. And soon it won't feel like an extra task. It'll be second nature. It will be the foundation that everything else in your day is built upon. One of the most powerful things you can do when starting your day with intention is to remind yourself of why you're doing what you're doing. What's your purpose? Why are you working so hard? Why are you chasing your dreams? Because when you have a clear sense of purpose, it makes everything else so much easier. You can deal with setbacks, you can handle distractions, and you can keep moving forward because you know why it matters. And it doesn't have to be some grand world-changing reason. It could be as simple as wanting to make today better than yesterday, or wanting to feel more connected to the people you love, or wanting to grow in some small way. The important thing is to connect with your why every single day. Another key to starting your day with intention is to create a routine. Routines create structure, and structure helps you stay focused. When you start your day with a routine, you're less likely to get off track. You don't have to spend hours planning your morning, but having a consistent start to your day can set the stage for the rest of it. Whether it's a morning workout, a cup of coffee while you read, or a few minutes of quiet reflection, create a routine that helps you get centered and aligned with your intentions for the day. And don't forget about your self-talk. The way you talk to yourself in the morning has a huge impact on your mindset for the rest of the day. If you wake up and immediately start telling yourself that it's going to be a tough day, that you're overwhelmed, or that you're not ready for what's coming, guess what? You're already setting yourself up for a struggle. But if you wake up and tell yourself that today is going to be a great day, that you're capable of handling whatever comes your way, that you're focused and ready, you're setting yourself up for success. Your self-talk is powerful. Use it to empower yourself, to fuel your intention, and to create the momentum you need to crush the day. Starting each day with intention is about more than just being productive. It's about being purposeful. It's about waking up with a reason to go after what you want, a reason to push through the obstacles, and a reason to keep moving forward. When you start your day with intention, you take control of your life. You stop reacting and start creating. And let me tell you, when you're the creator of your day, everything changes. You become unstoppable. And that, my friend, is the power of starting each day with intention. Number 10. Remind yourself your energy is more valuable than any temporary problem. The value of your energy. You probably don't give much thought to your energy, unless you're exhausted or feeling drained. Right. But here's the truth. Your energy is one of the most valuable resources you have. It's not just about physical energy. It's mental, emotional, and spiritual energy too. The way you direct your energy shapes your entire day, and it ultimately shapes your life. If you're always giving your energy to problems, to negative thoughts, or to things that don't serve you, you're depleting your most valuable asset. Now, we all face challenges. We all encounter problems. It's part of life. And it's easy to get caught up in these problems, to feel like they're the biggest things in the world, and to give them all of our attention and energy. But here's the thing. Problems, no matter how big or small, are temporary. They come, they go. They don't last forever. What lasts forever is how you manage your energy and how you choose to react to those problems. Too many people waste their precious energy on problems that have no lasting value. They dwell on things that they can't control, things that don't matter in the grand scheme of life. And they let those problems drain them, mentally, emotionally, and physically. They let those temporary problems rob them of their power, their clarity, and their ability to move forward. And the worst part is, they don't even realize they're doing it. They don't realize that by giving their energy to something that doesn't serve them, they're robbing themselves of the ability to solve the real challenges in their life. What would happen if you reminded yourself every single day that your energy is more valuable than any temporary problem? What would happen if instead of allowing a problem to consume you, you decided to protect your energy and use it to focus on what really matters? Imagine how much more clear-headed, focused, and empowered you'd feel. Instead of spiraling into stress, worry, and frustration, you'd be able to take a step back, assess the situation, and figure out how to handle it from a place of strength. You see, problems are going to happen. That's a given. You can't avoid them. Whether it's a setback in your career, a disagreement with someone you care about, a financial issue, or just the day-to-day stresses of life, problems will come. But the key is this: don't let them take over your energy. Don't let them control your thoughts or your emotions. Your energy is too valuable for that. It's too important. Think about it. When you give your energy to a problem, what happens? You start to feel overwhelmed. You start to stress. Your mind races. Your body tenses up, and you become less effective at finding a solution. You get stuck in that cycle of worry and frustration, and it only makes things worse. But when you choose to protect your energy and redirect it towards solutions, towards what you can control, everything changes. You approach the problem from a calm, centered place. You're more focused, you're more creative, you're able to think clearly and make better decisions. This doesn't mean ignoring your problems or pretending they don't exist. It means recognizing that your energy is more valuable than any temporary issue and choosing to protect it. It means stepping back from the emotional reaction and taking a more rational, purposeful approach. It means reminding yourself that you don't have to give all of your mental and emotional power to something that won't matter
In the long run, let's be real for a second. Life is full of distractions. It's full of problems, and it's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of negativity. But the more you focus on these distractions, the less energy you have to focus on your goals, your growth, and your long-term happiness. So what can you do about it? First, you can start by being aware of where your energy is going. What are you spending your time and mental space on? What are you giving your emotional energy to? Are you letting temporary problems take up too much of your focus? Are you letting things that don't matter steal your peace? The key is to stay present and recognize that your energy is yours to control. You have the power to choose where it goes. And when you choose to guard your energy, when you choose to give it only to things that truly matter, you become unstoppable. You become a force to be reckoned with. Because the truth is, the problems you face today, no matter how big they seem, are just temporary. And they're not worth giving up your energy for. Instead of letting a temporary problem steal your power, remind yourself of your bigger vision. What are you working toward? What's your purpose? What's your long-term goal? The more you focus on that, the less space you'll have in your mind and your heart for things that don't matter. When you keep your eyes on your bigger purpose, your energy flows in the right direction. You start to see challenges as opportunities to grow, rather than obstacles that stop you in your Tracks. And here's the kicker. When you protect your energy and focus it on the things that matter, you'll actually be in a better position to solve your problems. You'll have the mental clarity to see solutions. You'll have the emotional strength to deal with setbacks. And you'll have the drive to keep moving forward, no matter what. But it all starts with this simple reminder. Your energy is more valuable than any temporary problem. It's more valuable than any setback, any challenge, or any frustration you encounter. Your energy is what will carry you through life. It's what will help you create the life you want. And once you realize that, you'll stop wasting time and energy on things that don't matter. You'll start living with intention, with purpose, and with a deep understanding of your own power. So make the decision today. Protect your energy. Guard it. Choose to direct it toward what really matters. And when problems arise, and they will, remind yourself that they're just temporary. Your energy is too precious to waste on anything less than what will bring you closer to your goals. Because when you protect your energy,
You protect your future. And that, my friends, is a game changer. Peace is not the absence of chaos, but the presence of calm in the middle of it. As we wrap up today, remember that you are in control. Life will keep testing you, throwing challenges your way, but how you respond is entirely up to you. By making peace a priority and choosing calm over chaos, you can handle anything that comes your way. The key is to start practicing this mindset every day. It takes time, but as you begin to let go of things that disturb your peace, you'll start feeling more grounded, more in control, and more confident in every situation. So keep at it, stay focused, don't let anything steal your peace. Because when you learn to act as if nothing can disturb it, you'll not only face life with more strength, but you'll also find more joy and fulfillment in each day. Thanks for being here. Keep working on your peace, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.